Welcome to the Misquamicut Beach Podcast, a podcast spotlighting the businesses, newsmakers, events, and memories of Rhode Island's historic Misquamicut Beach.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Misquamicut Beach Podcast. My name is Ben Barber. I'm your host and one of the producers of the show, here today with the other producer of the show and the executive director of the Misquamicut Business Association, Caswell Cooke. It is the coldest day of the year so far. It's 9 degrees out right now, in the middle of January. But it is no better time to start looking forward to the beach season and 2019. Caswell, how are you?
Will we be laughing in July when all this stuff is happening and we were thinking back to this January day when we recorded this?
Yeah, definitely. It's so cold.
It's either so cold or so hot. People always complain. I choose to complain about the cold. And because I choose to complain about the cold, when it's 102 degrees sweating in July, I don't complain. I prefer that.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, burning or freezing, for like say to die or something, I probably would choose freezing. It's slower that way.
What an optimistic way to start the episode.
But for living, I would rather have it nice and hot. So with that being put aside, we are planning all kinds of great things for the summer of 2019. It's like, some things stay, some things go, some things change, and we try to keep it fresh. We try to keep it exciting. We've done 9 years, it'll be this year, of festivals. So there's always how do you change the layout? As you know, the entertainers, because you interview them on the podcast, they're different every time. But then there's some elements of it that are the same. I mean, we always are going to have that Ferris wheel. Except there was one year that they didn't bring the Ferris wheel, and someone posted hashtag where's the Ferris wheel. It never happened again. There was one year that they tried to skimp on us, and they didn't bring a Ferris wheel. He goes, well, we got the big claw instead. I'm like, no, man, no. Ferris wheel is synonymous with Fall Fest and Spring Fest in Misquamicut. So we basically try to kick that season off the weekend of Mother's Day, which is like the 10th, 11th, 12th of May. And we try to get things going 2 weeks ahead of Memorial Day.
Are there any, breaking news? Can we have a little hint as to maybe some of the acts that'll be at Springfest this year?
Well, if Taylor Swift wants to just come down the street, we could have her as the headliner, but probably not going to happen. So we're going to have to go to Gillette to see her in the summer. No, all kidding aside, Ben. We've got a great evening on Saturday night where we're going to do this kind of singer-songwriter situation. We've never done that before. And there's a really famous group that was popular starting in around 1970, 71, 72, and they're all the way through to today. Aztec Two-Step is their name. And they had some charting stuff back in the day, but they're very well known in New England. And they're kind of like, I don't want to say Simon and Garfunkel, but kind of like that 70s, America is a band that comes to mind when I think of some of their songs. Some of the stuff that we've had in the past here, like Pure Prairie League and who did Amy, What You Gonna Do, and Firefall. They were kind of like, I don't want to say soft rock, because they're folk rock of the 70s. And so they're going to play. And then I'm going to bring back my friend John Batdorf, who you talked to, I believe.
Yeah, John Batdorf was a great interview.
And his song, Wham Bam, from the 70s, which got re-released with Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack 2 years ago, has really had a revival in his band Silver, and so there's people talking online about him recording the unreleased second album they didn't ever do with Clive Davis back in the 70s. He's a cool guy, so I'm going to bring him back. And then on Sunday of the festival, we've got this really great tribute band called Whole Lotta Heart, which is a tribute to the band Heart, a great female lead, and then she does, as Heart does, Led Zeppelin covers. The best thing I ever saw, one of the best things I ever saw Heart do is a few years ago when Led Zeppelin got the Kennedy Center honors, and you got Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones sitting up in the balcony, and Heart comes on stage and does Stairway to Heaven. and they just knocked. They had Robert Plant crying, and Heart is really well known for doing Led Zeppelin stuff, even though they have a million Heart songs, Barracuda and Crazy on You, and all the stuff they did in the 80s. So this tribute band is a tribute to Heart and Led Zeppelin. So we're looking forward to that. And then there's something great on Friday night, but it slips my mind right now.
Is it an AC/DC tribute band?
Oh, yeah. It is. It's written on the board. Yes, Dirty Deeds. They are a great AC/DC tribute band. They play a lot all over the area. They always pack them in at Charlestown Seafood Festival, so we're going to copy Heather, who runs the Charlestown Seafood Festival from the Charlestown Chamber, and we're going to book Dirty Deeds, which is going to be really cool. And then we're going to introduce a couple of new artists, which one of them is called Displaced Danger, kind of an alt-rock band. And then we're working on some other people. There's some singer-songwriters that we might add. So we've got the sort of legacy singer-songwriter people on the Saturday night. We're going to maybe have some up-and-coming singer-songwriters open. And then, so Friday and Sunday are the tributes, and Saturday night is, the real deal guys with a certain genre, a certain era. So that's Springfest, and then all the great stuff that happens with Springfest. You're going to do a whole show on Springfest, I'm sure.
I'm probably going to do multiple shows on Springfest. And some of the local talent like Larry and David the Magicians are coming back, I see, and Simply Enchanted will be there. So those are all great
Ryan
people.
Piccolo, the saxophone player, he'll be there.
So what after Springfest, once the beach opens, we have the drive-in.
We have the drive-in, and we're opening the drive-in with Jaws 2. Why Jaws 2, you say? Well, because this year we're doing something different. We're actually, instead of having, so in May and June, we have Friday night movies. And then in July and August, we do 3 nights a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So instead of doing a different movie each night of the week, so Thursday would be, Jaws, and Friday would be, something else, we're going to do one movie for the weekend. So we're going to have a Jaws weekend. We're going to have a Back to the Future weekend. We're going to have a Caddyshack weekend. So we're trying to just, because you look at it this way, most people aren't going to the drive-in Thursday, Friday, Saturday night in a row. But a lot of the complaints, or not complaints, but the feedback, because we asked the customers, and one of the feedbacks is, geez, my vacation starts on Saturday, and I stay from Saturday through Saturday. And I have to, check out by noon on Saturday. And I always miss Jaws because you always play it on a Friday night. I always miss Jaws. And so you sort of get that sort of thing. So we said, well, look, if we play Jaws Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're hitting different audiences. If you look at it from the point of view of the traveler, of the person that's out of town, some people's vacations are ending on the Saturday morning, some are beginning. So I think that would be very helpful if we do that. So we're going to do that. So we do have the entire lineup of the Misquamicut Drive-In, but it is kicking off in May, and we have a promotion going on our Misquamicut Drive-In Facebook page. You can purchase tickets in advance from squatup.com. The link is right on Misquamicut Drive-In Theater on Facebook, and we're selling tickets right now for 50% off. And we also have a season ticket available, so you get like 30-something movies for $100. You can go to all movies all summer for $100. And then the other thing we've done is we've pretty much, we haven't announced it, but we have, this is through the town of Westerly and our committee, but we have the Tunes on the Dunes set and ready to go for 2019. We're excited about it. We have I'll tell you, we have a lot of local favorites. We had kind of gotten away from some of the Roomful of Blues guys for the past few years, so I can tell you unequivocally that we'll have Al Copley back. It's been a few years. We'll have Duke Robillard back. It's been a few years. We have a really great band coming called the Beat Beatles from South America. The Blues Beatles. The Beat Beatles. The Blues Beatles, which you can tell what kind of music they do. They basically do the Beatles.
Yeah.
Blues Beatles. So those are really cool bands that we have coming, and we have great Monday night lineup. So then we have the classic car shows will be returning every Tuesday night. It's a newer night. We've only been doing Tuesdays a couple years. And, just great stuff happening. Fall Fest, all that stuff.
About the classic car shows, you promised me last year that I would get to meet Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I have yet to meet Cruisin' Bruce Palmer. I am Facebook friends with him now, though.
He got rained out last year, and this year, because we've had such a problem with weather situations, Bruce reached out to me last night. We're not having him come this year. So we got the doc, though, but you know the doc. He's a local. Yeah. We got the doc. We don't have Cruisin' Bruce this year, so I apologize.
So the Guy Fawkes bonfire, which ends the 2019 season, ends the season every year in October. There is a little bit of a change-up that was announced really quickly after the first one, after the 2018. You guys came right out of the gate with the announcement for a little bit of a change to the Guy Fawkes. So can you talk about that?
Sure. Guy Fawkes Bonfire Night, which is something that Misquamicut's been doing for 21 years. This will be the 22nd annual. We started this at the Andrea way back in the day. It's a reenactment of the trial for treason of Guy Fawkes from 1605, but it's done like Monty Python meets the Beatles. It's a spoof. It's a comedy. But hundreds of people show up every year, as you know, and it's a really cool event. The Andrea, they hosted us for 21 great years, and we're moving the venue down the street to the Windjammer. Good things about moving it to the Windjammer. There's more room. There's more parking. And if it rains, we can do it inside on the stage, which is something we always had an issue with. Anytime there was inclement weather, 2 years ago, we had to stop the show mid-show. 1 year, we spent a lot of money in this huge stage configuration, and we had to do it under like a tent. It's really tough with the weather in October. Most of the time it's gorgeous, but so the Windjammer is a great move for us. So hopefully the next 20 years will be at the Windjammer. And hopefully people will just, go a quarter of a mile down the street. I don't think it's going to make a difference. It's still going to be a bonfire on the beach. It's still going to... But we thank the Andrea for all those years of hosting and for Lenny Colucci for pushing me to start an event like that.
And you can actually see the entirety of the 2018 Guy Fawkes bonfire on the Misquamicut Beach YouTube page. Just Google Guy Fawkes Misquamicut 2018. It'll come up, or search it.
We have a YouTube page?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how do you find it?
Search Misquamicut Beach on YouTube.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I was just making sure.
There's a great video up there for of Springfest this past year with Phil Solem from the Rembrandts, singing "I'll Be There for You," the theme from Friends, and a Fall Fest video featuring Spooky and the Atlantic Rhythm section. So there's some fun stuff on there. The Luau coming up, kicking off the season, well, before the season starts, the big Luau fundraiser. We have an episode about that we did with Rebecca Colucci from the Andrea. That was great, and so I encourage everybody to listen to that for all the details. Can you just tell me a little bit about the Luau and, sort of setting things in motion for 2019?
Yeah, the Luau is our annual kickoff. It's our one fundraiser. We always do it the first Friday in February. So it's always, whatever that date is, that's when it is, the first Friday in February. And we do it at Venice Restaurant on Shore Road, which is part of Misquamicut. We do it in the ballroom on the second floor. We have a band. We have silent auction. We have food from 20 different locations. We have a raffle. Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee is always our guest host for calling out the raffle numbers. It's a fun night. Hundreds of people come, and we have a good time. It's the dead of winter. We might as well look forward to summer.
I will be there this year. Maybe I can get another interview with Lieutenant Dan for the podcast. That would be great. And so anything else that you would like to add to look forward to in 2019 at the beach?
Well, it's just I'm looking forward to DJing on Thursday nights at the Windjammer. I started that last year. This is a personal thing aside from the NBA, but it was fun to get back to doing that. I used to DJ at the Andrea for years. And then, I had kids and got older. So now it's like the over 40 tour for me on Thursday nights. But we had a lot of fun last year, and I'll do it again this year. But no, 2019, I'm just looking forward to just, I love it when the drive-in opens for the season. I love it when the festival comes. It means that summer's here, and we keep the summer alive. We do like the Beach Boys, the endless summer, and we keep it going right through October. So right now, when you get that December through early March period of time, that's when we have to get our sponsorships, nail down the lineups, get the permits, and then that way when May comes, things just roll.
Yeah, and it's been a busy off season for you too. You got married, congratulations, and you're back on the Westerly Town Council. So those are two big things. So congratulations to that. But I got to imagine now in January you're starting to probably go a little stir crazy, getting ready to get back out there for the summer.
Well, it's easier now that I'm married. And, of course, with kids and stuff, so they keep you busy. I think if it was 10 years ago, before I was married and before I had kids, I probably would. I think I was stir crazy in the winter, really, because my time is like the summer. That's just my natural time as a person. It is for so many people, although I know plenty of people that winter is, they can't wait. They tell me in July, can't wait for fall weather, can't wait for campfires. And I get it. Everyone has their season. But for me, my favorite day of the year is like July 15th, the peak of the middle of the summer. I love it. And there's no better place. Like, I truly believe, in having traveled around the world over the years, things like that, here and there, there's no better and cooler beach than ours. We just have, Westerly's got it, and so that's why I'm like a champion for Misquamicut and for Westerly, because I think it's great. The one thing I will say, I know we're wrapping it up, is this is Westerly's 350th anniversary year. And Misquamicut obviously is in no small part of that. We are a village in Westerly, even though people might not know that. We're part of Westerly, so we're looking forward to the 350th. We kicked it off, the 350th committee, with sort of a community-wide bell ringing on the 1st of January. One of the things I'm looking forward to personally is at the end of June, we're digging up the time capsule in the park. I'm the chair of that committee. I've been looking. It was a capsule buried in 1969, before you or I were born. And I remember seeing it probably like in 1979 when I was 5. And I remember asking what that was. And I remember looking at it all those years growing up and saying, what's in there? And I always said, someday I'm going to dig that up. Well, here I am. I'm on the town council. I'm the chair of the 350th Time Capsule Committee, which is the little segment I got involved in. The other folks are doing all the big stuff. But this is going to be a great event. So not only are we going to dig up the capsule in June and see what's in there, we're going to bury a new capsule in August at the country fair, the old-time country fair they're having, the 350th they're having in the park in August. So we're going to be soliciting items to put in the capsule. And what's really cool is years ago, EB made the capsule in 69. Well, the Westerly Education Center, with their classes that they have for EB, they're designing the new capsule that'll go in for 50 years. And they're also looking at how to store electronics for 50 years, because obviously we're going to have to put an iPhone and a zip drive and some things in there that in 50 years will probably be like an 8-track. And I'll be 94 when it gets opened, so that's my goal, is to live to see it reopen. And the funny story is, so Joe Cagini, who was there, elder in our community, very well known, he's on the radio. He's in his late 80s. He was on the committee that buried the capsule in 69. So we were having a meeting. He goes, well, let me tell you what's in there, Caswell. And I'm like, no! I've been waiting since 1979, others since 69. I've been waiting since 1979 to see what's in that damn capsule. Do not tell me 6 months before we dig it up. But then he was gonna, and I was like, no, Mr. Cagini, don't. So we're hopefully going to put some great stuff in the capsule. If you have any ideas, or people listening have any ideas, we'd love to have stuff from the schools, from any organizations in our town, clubs, societies, churches. I mean, anything, any group that's in our town that would think something should be preserved for 50 years. That'd be awesome,
That's really cool. All right. Well, thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to 2019. You can check out everything that's coming up on Misquamicut Beach, at Misquamicut Beach, Misquamicut Beach on Facebook, and Misquamicut.org. All right, guys. Have a good one.
For more information on the events and businesses in Misquamicut Beach, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at Misquamicut.org.